All right, guys, it's time to go for a run. So I'm very excited today. We have a 13-mile run that we're gonna do, a little half marathon. Running this week, I would say that it's gone bad, but it actually just hasn't gone at all. Work has been just kind of a nightmare, and I've been working so much that on top of that and the baby, it's just, I haven't been able to keep up with my schedule. So we're kind of out from under that, and starting today, I guess, we're back on the running schedule. So kind of the nice thing about this, base block is that, yeah, it's super nice to kind of build up your fitness before you really start getting into actual training. But we don't really have a ton to worry about because we did that for the past couple of weeks. We'll still hit 15 miles this week, which, isn't too terribly far off from our goal of 15 to 25, somewhere in there, or 25, sorry. That's the goal. That was the goal for the week. For this half marathon, our goal is really just to get out there and run, put some time on feet. Not a max effort attempt by any stretch. Really just, our goal is just to get out there. I did kind of this week track my weight a little bit and my calories. I was eating somewhere around like 3,300 to 3,600 calories a day. For the cut that we want to do, we'll start on that this coming week. We're really not going to be doing anything crazy. We're going to cut like 100 to 200 calories and just kind of see how we feel. The goal is to keep the training volume up and have that not be impacted by any sort of calorie deficit. So really just going to focus on keeping the protein high and also keeping carbs high. The fat is probably where we're going to try and cut back a little bit, but you have to be careful about that when you're an athlete, because your fat intake is kind of what determines your hormone output, and especially for endurance training, where it's very taxing for men on testosterone overall. You want to have that healthy cholesterol so that your body can produce the testosterone that you need to train and to maintain muscle mass, all that sort of stuff. As soon as you start to kind of have a drop in testosterone, your recovery gets worse, your overall performance gets worse, and your training suffers, and so does your mental health. So it's important when you do cuts to definitely eat a balanced diet, which is such a stereotype, so stereotypical, but when you don't, your hormones suffer, and when your hormones suffer, your training suffers. So it's just kind of one of those things that's just important to take care of yourself in all facets, not just the completion of the running plan. Sorry, I'm trying to make it so that it's less shaky. So this past week, all we did was a 2-mile shakeout run on Tuesday. And other than that, I made it to the gym one time this week. Twice. I made it to the gym twice. So no exercise, but definitely just significantly reduced capacity. I expect to feel pretty solid on this run. My legs should be pretty fresh. I did run, I did a mile warm up before my lift on Friday morning. Today's Sunday. And I was pushing pretty hard, really just trying to get my blood flow going before I lifted. And I was definitely feeling it in my shins a bit. So depending on how we feel today, we'll start to we'll talk about some stuff that you can do for shin splints if they start to pop up a little bit. Some, stretching that you can do to mitigate it, and also just some strength exercises that you can do to kind of help your calves and your shins not get into a compromised position. Once injuries start, you really do want to address them on the front end, kind of like anything. The longer that you go without addressing something, the worse overall it's going to get. That's true of life and running, just athletics in general. The longer you wait to deal with your problems, the worse your problems are going to be. As far as prep for this run today, last week I really had a pretty terrible 10-mile run. Felt pretty horrible throughout most of it. It was the humidity, but it was mostly, I think, the lack of hydration beforehand. So today, what we've had is we've had 2 bagels. We've had about 750 milliliters of water, 750 milliliters of an element with some creatine in it. I do 10 grams of creatine, so 2 scoops, and 1 full element packet. It does look like it's gonna rain a little bit today. I'm just noticing that, so if it gets too heavy and I have trouble filming, I'll definitely update you guys towards the end of the run, but we should be fine. But back to prep. So we've had a good amount of water today, and then for the run itself today, I have 1 bottle of G&M Sport, which is 300 milligrams of sodium and 20 grams of carbs. And then I have another bottle of that. So we'll probably end up, with about a liter of water consumed. I've got 4 goos. I'll probably end up only needing 3 because we're gonna do one every 30 minutes. And so I won't do one on the last 30. And I assume this will probably take about 2 hours. We're gonna do it in kind of a lapped approach because my running pack I had forgotten to wash it out from last week. So we're just gonna fill this up again once we run out. So we'll go out 3, back 3, and then out 3 and back 3. With the additional couple extras so that we can get to the half marathon. Yeah, so the goal today is to keep the pace pretty nice and even. I really just want an even pace throughout. I don't want to go up and down too much. I would like to kind of maintain a steady, even keel, and I would like to not take too many walk breaks today. Mostly because I just want to maintain that time on feet, and I don't want to be kind of taxing my heart rate by like moving up and down. So we'll just focus on that. Other than that, yeah, pretty simple run out there today. Let's go do it. Let's go run a half marathon. I'll see you guys out there. All right, little bonus challenge for today. Every 3 miles we run, we're gonna do 20 push-ups. So by the end, we'll have 100 push-ups on the day. Feels like a nice little add of variety to the run. Something to keep us entertained and going. So make sure to update you guys again at mile 1 and mile 3 when we do our first set. See you then. All right, mile 1 done, 9:11 pace. Feeling very good today. Obviously, I haven't spent a lot of time on the legs this week, so they're feeling fresh. Definitely gonna make an easy time of this run today. So I'll see you guys again at mile 2. I was thinking about the best piece of advice I could give for runners who are new and they're starting their long runs or they're out for their first race. Running is a game of mental chunking. And what I mean by that is if you've been doing like your time on feet, like your short runs throughout the week that are easy, 2, 3, 4 miles, your nickel and dimes. When you're out for your long run, all you have to think to yourself is, okay, I just need to go this 4 miles and then I get to turn around. Just have to do 4 miles. That's easy. So for me today, we are doing 2 laps. So I'm thinking to myself right now, I just got to make it 3 miles and then I turn around. I can do 3 miles any day of the week. And when you're doing a race, you just got to think, I just got to make it to the next aid station. And you create these little mini goalposts in your head throughout the run. And the more that you stack up, the more wins you stack up during that run, the easier and easier the goalposts get. And the closer and closer to the finish you get. So you don't have to make that big jump, oh, I got to run 17 miles today. No, you just got to get out to the 3 mile mark or the 4 mile mark or whatever. Definitely the best tip I can give to new runners. I'll see you guys again soon. All right, mile 2 down, 9:33 pace. See you guys again soon. Okay, first chunk down. We're actually gonna extend it a little bit, go 4 miles so that we can go for a total of 8 for our first lap, and then have an easy 5 for the second. So we're about 30 minutes in, feeling very good. Mile 3 down right there. 9:33 pace, I think. So definitely feeling solid today. Just keep stacking up those wins, guys. Like I was saying before about chunking. when you can break your run into manageable pieces, you can finish them so much easier than if you try and mentally conquer 13, 14, 15, 16, a 20-mile run in just one mental block. Get out there, chunk your runs. All right, mile 4, 10:40 pace. I think the watch was a little bit off. Also had to catch myself a little bit. I wasn't quite panic pacing, but I was definitely going a little bit faster than I probably should have been. And was definitely kind of wearing myself down a little bit. We're not even halfway through this run yet, so got to keep it nice and easy. We did just turn around, so we're headed back to the car now for the first lap. Feeling solid overall though. I'll see you guys again at mile 5. Something we talked a little bit about in the last run, I think, and I just think is such a cool trick about running is if you find yourself listening to music when you run and you feel like your runs are just taking a long time, turn the music off. Once you turn the music off and you get lost in the run, it really just starts to kind of flow out of you. And we did talk about this a little bit last time. And the time just goes by so much quicker. You're just racking up mile after mile. And you're not even thinking about it because your mind isn't keeping track of the number of songs that have gone by, how long it's been, that sort of thing. Turn the music off. Just get out there and let it flow. See you guys again soon. All right, mile 5 done. 10:31 pace. Taking a little 2-minute walk break. Feeling good though. See you guys again soon. So in addition to being very close to raining today, I'm nearly out of water and it's about 90% humidity, so it feels a little bit like a swim today, but we're out here. I'm doing all right. I'll see you guys again soon. All right, mile 6 done, 9:30 pace. Nearly out of water. Still about 2 miles from the car before our next lap, so gotta stay strong throughout this last little bit. Oh, it's time for another goo. All right, I'll see you guys again soon. All right, mile 7 down, 10:24 pace. Really wish I had some water, but less than a mile to the car, so we'll restock there. I'll see you guys again soon. All right, so made it back to the car, mile 8. Need a little bit of water there. So, man, you have to be careful with your pit stops. So, honestly, this run was a good bit harder than I expected it to be. That's fine. But when you got pit stops like this, when you're doing your chunking, but you do it in such a way where you come back to your car, I would say that there's like a tyranny of the moment when you get there. So I got back to the car. It's mile 8. I've been running for an hour and 22 minutes. It'd be easy for me to just get in the car and go home and call it a good day's work, but that wouldn't be doing the goal that we set out here to do. So I got to get back out there even though it's hard. We did run out of water, which definitely is contributing to how the run feels overall and why it's not going as well as it could. But we just refilled and we got a little bit of water here. So we're gonna go back out. We're gonna do our last 5 miles and our last 50 push-ups, and we'll finish strong. I'm gonna take a second. I'm gonna eat this bobo, this little snack here, and I'll see you guys again at mile 9. All right, mile 9 done, 10:10 pace. Struggling a little bit, same thing that kind of happened to me last week. My stomach is just kind of killing me right now, so just gotta power through. Only about 1.5 miles till turn around, so I'll see you guys there. Oh, good effort today. It's a tough one, but we're feeling good about it. Taking a little walk break, about 9.5 miles in. I'll see you guys again at mile 10. All right, mile 10 done. 12-minute pace for that one. It's because I forgot to pause the watch for the push-up break like I've been doing, but it's all right. So when you get deep in these long runs, it's really important to know the types of fatigue. So we talked about that in a previous video. There's mental, muscle, and heart. So if you're mentally fatigued, you push through, you keep going. If your muscles are fatigued, that's when you might need to reevaluate the run. And if your heart rate's fatigued, you need to slow down and start breathing a little bit better. Now, when you get towards the ends of one of these runs, your body's gonna try and give you a bunch of reasons to quit, a bunch of reasons why you shouldn't keep going. And even if you're encountering all 3 types of fatigue at, mile 10, mile 11, and you've got 2 miles left, you just got to keep pushing because you're almost done with the effort, and there's no point to change the effort when you're only a mile or 2 away. As long as you're, 50% of the way through the run and you're not encountering either heart rate or muscle fatigue, you don't need to reevaluate. So keep pushing, know the types of fatigue, and don't give up. I'll see you guys again soon. 11 miles in. 11:22 pace, feeling solid. See you guys again at mile 12. All right, mile 12 down, 9:47 pace. I feel like this last mile is gonna be the longest mile in the world. We're gonna get through it though. Gonna figure it out. Less than a mile, let's do it. I'll see you guys again soon. All right, guys, that is 13.11 miles and 100 push-ups. So we finished in about 2:17. Realistically, it was probably like, well, it was 2:17, but I didn't pause my watch for either of the last 2 push-up breaks. So overall running time was probably like 2 hours and 14 minutes, I would say. That was a great run. I'll list out the things that went well and the things that didn't go well, and then we'll kind of talk about those a little bit. What went well, eating and drinking went fantastic. I did run out of water, but like ultimately it didn't turn out to be a problem. I managed to get back to the car in, quick enough time that I didn't, bonk or get too dehydrated or anything. We ate about 420 calories, which the goal is 200 per hour. And so we were actually a little bit over our goal there. That was mainly the bobo that we ate, because that was 220 calories. It was a little bit hard on the stomach, like I mentioned, kind of close to mile like 10, I think. But it really passed pretty quickly, and overall I think that it was good to eat those calories when I did, because I didn't need to for the rest of the time that I was running. Drinking wise, we had about 1 liter of fluid. So we had 2 of those blue collapsible bottles. They each had 1 scoop of G1M Sport in them. So actually we had more than 220 calories, because I think each of those scoops is 80. So we had 160 plus 420 is 580. That math might be wrong. I'm very bad at math after I run. So yeah, we had an awesome time calorically and fluid intake wise. The lapping mechanism, or the chunking mechanism that we used, where we went out for 4, back for 4, and then out for 5, or out for 2.5 and back for 2.5, that worked really well for us today. I definitely felt like doing that helped me get through that run mentally a lot easier. That's the longest run I've done since the last run last weekend. We're at the 10 miler, and it's the longest run that I've done in a while overall. It really didn't feel too draining being out on my feet for that long. And sometimes it really can. Sometimes you really do get mental fatigue towards the end of those long runs. I would say like the most effective thing that you can do if you are having mental fatigue on your runs is really just cut back on your phone usage, which I know, coming from somebody who's posting these videos to YouTube, sounds, kind of counterintuitive. But running ultimately does rely a lot on dopamine, and it does create dopamine, but that's mostly when you've accomplished the run and you're kind of through with it. Definitely intra-run or mid-run, you can kind of feel bottomed out. Another way that you can kind of work on the mental fatigue too is to create more like milestones throughout your run. So what we did, where we were like, yeah, we've only got to get these next 2.5 miles. I've only got to get this next 4 miles, whatever. That sort of thing, builds wins, and wins make you feel or give you more dopamine. So I would say that if you're struggling with mental fatigue, definitely try and incorporate that. Muscle fatigue wise, really didn't have any this run. The heart rate did get a little tough towards the end, but I really just focused in on my breathing, and it didn't really seem to matter all that much. What didn't go well, so those are all the things that went well. I mean, most of it went well. What didn't go very well, I definitely felt I let that run flow a little bit too much, and I didn't focus very much on my heart rate. I didn't actually check to see what my average was, but I'll put the Strava here now. I know that I normally do that beforehand. I'll put it right here for you guys, and I'll also kind of highlight my average heart rate. If I had to guess, and who knows, this is a prediction, so we'll see when I put it up. If I had to guess, I would say that my average heart rate for that run was anywhere from 155 to 162. It's fine. It was still an overall like aerobic effort, and it was definitely good, but it wasn't as straightforward, or it wasn't as good on the heart as some of the other long runs that we've done. It's okay to do that every once in a while. I mean, again, time on feet's the most impactful metric more than anything, but heart rate's important as well. So I guess that's like the one thing that didn't go super well. Yeah, that's actually the only thing that I would say that didn't go well. Otherwise, it was overall a fantastic run. Definitely took some walk breaks in there, and also had a couple of push-up breaks too. Hopefully you guys like that challenge. I thought it was kind of fun. I did my math wrong when I said that at the beginning. I'm very bad at math when it comes to these runs. I don't know why, something about the physical activity. I guess my brain is just kind of focused elsewhere. But I realized that 4 times 20 is 80, not 100. So sorry, crazy driver. I ended up doing 20, 30, 30, and then another 20 at the end. That added a nice little spice to the run. But you know what else it did? It was another win mid-run that gave me more dopamine to kind of finish that run out. And that, you know, just little wins that you can stack up like that and that you can find make all the difference in the world for your training. You really don't want your training to get boring, monotonous, or just overall more difficult than it needs to be, because you can really wear yourself out from training, even if you're not physically tired, if you are focusing too much on how much effort something is going to be or how hard something is in the moment, more than focusing on the end goal. And I think for people who, you know, I can be this way too, who are just like kind of pleasure monkeys and just kind of mashing the phone until they feel something good. It's definitely something that if you're focusing more on the mid-run wins, or you're focusing more on the long-term win than the short-term pain, that can be impactful for your runs overall. All right, so I just got to the store. I'm gonna have to run inside, but as far as content coming for this week, I know last week we got a little bit off. You know, life happens. I'm you know, as I've said, I'm a dad, I have a job. Things come up. I'm gonna try and do as well as I can for everybody, and make sure that I keep uploading videos on a regular basis. I'm always gonna get at least 1 out a week. That's the bare minimum, but the goal is 3 a week. So this coming week, we are gonna do a full day of eating video. I don't know what day that'll be, but I'll keep you guys updated on that. So we'll do a full day of eating video. We'll probably do like a 5-mile midweek run video, and then we'll do another long run video next weekend. It probably won't be as long as this one was. I think that I'll probably end up doing like a 10 or something, and I'll do a back-to-back, like a 5 and a 10 back-to-back days. Yeah, thanks everybody for coming out on the run today. That was a good time, and I'll see you guys in the next one.